film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah.
Coming at you from the mean streets of St. Louis, from a basement on South Broadway, the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Ho, ho, ho.
That's right.
Yeah, day after Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Brock still in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
I had a good Christmas.
Good, man.
I'm kidding. I don't know yet. We filmed this, recorded before Christmas even happened. I'm just projecting it so it comes true.
That's right. I got the text.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm wearing a Christmas hat.
Yeah, man. I don't have a Christmas sweater or because I hate sweaters.
I got green on to
Hey,
compliment
that's
your red.
close. Hey, man.
I know. Or
Actually,
Grinch.
We're good. And we got a Grinch in the middle.
Damn.
Grinch in the middle here.
Greg of the Grinch.
No, well, for real though. Hopefully everybody had a really good Christmas, and yeah, I know we're real close to each other, and we don't buy each other gifts or anything
Thank God.
because Chris can't afford to give us another gift back, so we're like, I
That's rude. Actually, we got a nice gift from you last year.
I'm just messing with you guys.
On the,
you can cut that shit out.
no,
It's
we
fine.
got a nice gift from you last year on the from the Bill Moseley sign thing.
Oh
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
I did give you guys a really cool
Yeah.
Christmas gift last year because we made a movie. So do you go ahead and tell them what I gave you guys. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, Brock pestered Bill Moseley to sign the call sheets.
I know. Had me ask his agent outright to see if he could sign some stuff, so we brought her in too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he just kept throwing shit out in front of him.
not really. So I printed out on some really good paper the call sheet for that day that had Bill Moseley's name on it and obviously all of our names on it. And I asked him politely. I said, "Hey, would you mind signing some stuff for me? I mean, I don't feel like you have to, but I really want to give this as Christmas gifts to my partners and also to my children." So I also printed out the call sheets of the day my kids were on set, and Bill did not have a problem at all. He said, "Who do I make it out to? How do I write it?" And he said, "Yeah, no problem." He knew I wasn't going to go sell his
And
stuff.
that was Judy's thing too. It's just like nothing on eBay. You can't. It's just like these are gonna personalize them and stuff.
That's why I asked him to.
I got $95 from mine.
Oh, nice, Greg. No, he did personalize it because he said,
he did personalize.
"Thanks
them.
for listening to the corn bugs."
That's right.
That's what he said to mine because we jammed out in the car to corn bugs.
Yeah, and had them framed up. They turned out pretty good.
Really?
Good. My kids have them in their rooms, and they like
Still
it.
getting nothing from me this year, buddy. Sorry.
I still have mine. I haven't done anything with it.
Oh, I hung mine up downstairs in my basement. Yeah.
Everybody else had done something with theirs, but I hadn't yet. But yeah, well, Merry Christmas again to you guys. Hopefully you guys had a really good year.
Yes.
It was a good year. Finished a film this year. This is not the New Year's wrap, but
No.
but we did have a good year. But thinking about that, Brock, let's talk about people you meet on sets and that kind of stuff. Relationships you build while you're making a movie.
That's like my favorite part. Part of my favorite part.
Is building those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You bring in a bunch of people who probably don't know each other. What percentage of the people on our film do you think didn't know each other?
A quarter at least.
Yeah, 25%. You think didn't know anybody on the film set?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less, because I think everyone had some sort of connection to someone else, which is how a lot of independent films operate.
Yeah, it was fun watching that from the time we did read through to the time we brought these folks in. That how tight people get that are all put in a similar situation. It's crazy because I did a lot of theater, and people get tight really quick in theater.
I think to make things run smooth, that you should build relationships with everybody in front of and especially behind the camera, because the people behind the camera are the ones actually doing most of the work, unless you're producing at the same time. But what Greg has said earlier is you get to know people, and somehow you build this relationship up with them, and you just keep on working with them. It seems like you keep working with the same group of people all the time. Now, there's a handful of actors on Red Knight I knew of, but I just never worked on the same set with them. Most of them, actually. Scott Michael Dunn, I'd never worked with him side by side, and he was one of the main guys in the film with me, and we became pretty good friends on the film. Joe Hammerstone, I'd worked with a couple times, and he's always solid. Never had to worry about him at all. Jackie Kelly, I knew of her for sure, but I never worked with her. And man, we seem to have really good chemistry on set. And obviously with Bill, none of us worked with Bill before.
Yeah.
And he I've said before, he couldn't have been a sweeter person, for real. I think I mentioned this before. The way we talked even off camera, it seemed like we knew each other for a while. It's kind of cool.
I had the advantage of, I guess, having to pick him up from the airport,
Right.
dealing with his agent. I felt like I knew him even before because Judy was feeding me all this stuff on him. I had prepared like this, hey, if he has anything he wants to do, he was in the trains. I mean, just the personal stuff you learn about him. And then when you get him there, you're like, man, is this guy really what she said he is? He turned out to just be the nicest guy in the world. And just, I mean, that was a good thing. I mean, I don't know what your experience was with Bill or anybody on set because you're directing.
Yeah.
Right, so you build relationships for sure, but are they more professional, or do you get because we get downtime, man. There's time we get to have personal talks. I know more personal things about people that I probably never would have had that many hours to spend with them talking. But as a director, what's your experience like?
As a director on an independent film set, I have effectively zero downtime. It's like you are running from the moment you get there to the moment you leave. And I know the cast and some of the crew have a different experience where there's lots of downtime in between. Like, say, wardrobe is not always on, right? Effects are not always on. Some people, the cinematographer, the sound people, they always have to be on with the director. First AD is usually, running their ass off. But I was explaining this whole phenomenon to my girlfriend because she's like, what's it really like being on a set? I said, well, it's like this really intense kind of family situation that you're thrown into for a short amount of time, that you build these really close relationships with people. And, you have your own language, you have your own sort of inside jokes, and it's just a really, it's why you do this sort of thing.
It's kind of like euphoric chaos, because when you're producing and directing, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's kind of chaotic, but it's something kind of magical being ready to shoot a movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how fast it happens, because it does. I mean, you get on set, and next thing you know, this person you've never talked to, you're first talking about the movie, so you're talking about things you have in common, but very shortly after that, it happens very quick. It's surprising how quick it happens. I guess because you're all in the same boat, I guess, and you're all there for a purpose to make the movie happen. So it's easier to, I don't know, get along, I guess, you know what I mean, than not. But it is collected like a family.
It is.
Because you have, if you really compare it to a family, you have the crazy uncle, you have right? I mean, if you really look at it and break down your cast and crew.
So on Red Night, we had a group of bikers for a scene. And we had quite a few bikers. I don't know exactly how many, but 30, 50.
Yeah, 30 to
something
50, something like that.
And they were background extras, whatever.
Yes.
But I didn't know any of them beforehand. I knew a friend of mine was connected to Action Riders of Franklin County, and they're a big group, and they raise a lot of money for a lot of people that need money. And they said they'd be happy to be in a movie. They said, "What do you need?" I said, "Well, just dress like bikers and ride your bikes, man." And
Come as yourself.
and now there's a handful of them I'm friends with, and I talk to quite a few of them all the time. I get messages from a handful of them all the time, and they had a great time on set. They just acted like themselves, having a very good time and being in a movie, and they were fun to work with, man. They had a blast. You remember that night? There was just all kinds of chaos going on.
Yeah, I remember
There was a
it
lot.
very well.
There was a lot of chaos that night.
I know that was the effect night, but I mean, throughout the night.
I had like $500 in $1 bills. I was worried about trying to.
Yeah, that was pretty damn stressful, I remember.
It was stressful for you. I mean, it was a little bit stressful for me because I wanted them to, enjoy the experience.
Right.
And they did. And but then after so many hours, they get a little antsy. They were fine. I was getting more antsy.
No, they were. They fell right into the movie practice.
Yeah.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
It's funny what you can do when you offer them, some
Free beer.
free beer, a place to hang out. I mean, that's right up their alley. Man.
Yeah.
They had a good time. But I guess my point is, now I'm friends with those guys. And any other time we need bikers in a movie, guess what? Man, they're going to be there.
Oh, I agree. And I think we created a good experience for them with, obviously, Brock, you taking the brunt of that to make sure. You really did. You went above and beyond on that night to really drive that for them.
Well, you can say that about all of us on any given night. When it's our people, we try and take care of our connections to get, like, I got the bikers there, right? Yeah, you had the connections to the bar scene, right? And, you made sure that you took care of them. And Chris, you had to take care of kind of everybody at the same time. But, it's different when you're the one who got the locations, you're the one who got the connection to the actors or the extras. You really want to make sure you treat them right. And you do that and you keep that good relationship, which we're talking about tonight, and they'll be there for you next time.
Well, the reason that I even got to thinking about this topic is one of our last film before Red Knighted Skies was 35 Days. Mm-hmm. And we are prepping that for release, actually. I mean, it's gonna be a process to get it there, but I was going through the files and looking at everything, and just that's a movie about finishing a movie. So it's a movie about filmmaking. Mm-hmm. And I just was looking at all the footage and just remembering what a fun time we had making that, what a good experience it was, and what a great tribute it was to my friend Stephen Heffernan. And I was talking to my girlfriend about, the whole phenomenon of how you get really close with people in a really short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And having been doing this since 1999, I feel very fortunate. There has been very few instances of people who did not get along or people who brought a negative vibe to the set. And really only a couple. And we're talking, almost 25 years and hundreds of people worked with on many projects. It's only been a couple of times where someone was just kind of a negative downer.
And you get them the hell out quick.
Yeah. Because that one poison apple can spoil the whole barrel.
Absolutely.
No, that's a great point. As professional as your set is, it's still not, you don't have every level of everybody on set. So one poison apple can, in an independent film, bring down a lot.
Yeah, because there was an effects guy we were talking to for Red Knight that we were going to bring in, but there was just something about the person. I was like, man, I don't know. I just keep getting this vibe that they're going to be a pain in the ass, and I just couldn't shake it. So, I think they ended up backing out due to COVID, and that's when we got Zach, and Zach was, good dude to work with, and that's what you want, man. There have been instances where I've encountered someone who was technically of a higher skill level, but they just didn't have the right personality for this. So it's like, I'll go with someone who is not quite as talented, but who is easier to get along with every time.
I do that in business in general, for sure. I mean, if you got somebody who gets you and you get them, and, like I said, they might not have the exact talent you're looking for, but you can always build them up to that level.
Yeah, you can pull the talent out of them or make sure you get out of them what you want. But what you can't bring is the attitude.
You can't change a person's personality.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's key. And it's strange when you bring in people you don't know, but they were recommended by somebody else, and then they gel right in.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I look at the entire experience as like you said, it's a very short period of time. The only people that are ever going to say they had that experience on that film are the people that worked on it. So it's a shared experience. You can take that in life when other things happen, right? War, right? Some people were in a battle, and that's all they had together, right? I'm not comparing this to war, but
sure.
But there's
it's the camaraderie.
But there is, right, of something that was shared for everybody to come together collectively to make this piece of product that only they know the inside jokes, what happened on each day, how it was performed. There's few of us that know everything. There's a lot of us that know a lot, and there's a few that know a little.
I fall in that category.
Yeah, but it's still that collective thing that team will never be brought together to make that thing again. And I think people come into that knowing that it's like a play or anything else. That's what's special about it, in my opinion.
I mean, I think back to Rhineland, our World War II movie. The actors, you guys throwing around a football. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because Paul Wendell, he played one of the main characters in the film.
Sarge.
Sergeant Mike Bowen.
Yeah.
He always
Off and on.
He always brought the football out there, and which in my mind I was like, awesome. They're getting along. they're keeping themselves entertained. I don't have to think about that because I didn't have time to do any of that shit. I was just busting my ass because that's what you got to do on a small budget indie shoot. But you want your people to be occupied and happy, right? It's like shared misery. Like, yeah, this sucks. It's cold and we're out here in the middle of the fucking woods and whatever. But hey, we're having a fun time together.
Yeah, in sports terms, you call that gelling.
Yeah.
I've coached a lot of sports over the last 2 decades, actually, and the teams that do the best are the ones that seem like they're friends. They're having a good time, just like on a movie set. You want to have a good time when you're on a movie set. I know there's some serious moments where you got to pipe down and really get your shit done or whatever, but if you're not having fun making a movie, then you're not going to last very long at all.
No.
Just like some kids that I coach, they just don't have fun playing the sport. They're just not having fun, and they may last a year or two, then they're out because it's just not for them, But on the movie sets that we've been on together, the gel happens, and I think you have to have it happen.
No, you set the right tone to begin with. I think we set the right tone because you're coming on to a professional where you only have to focus on your job, which is key. Because when you get a bunch of guys sitting around, what do soldiers do in downtime? They find things to do because they're bored.
Yeah.
Perfect set, perfect thing. Not you coming up and going, hey guys, don't throw the football, you might hit the tent, right? No, you have, as a director, producer, you have to let that stuff go. It's a controlled fun. There's a time and place to have the fun, like outside or understanding where your boundaries are. And I think everybody just finds that. And there's always people to kind of keep other people in check to understand, like, especially people that don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I can't do this on a set. You can do it outside because you can't hear us, if you want to do this. But I always think there's always the veterans looking out for the younger guys on a set. I always like to see that because some people, even on our set, were brand new. I know a lot of our background actors never been on a set before, and they wanted to stay in there the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, it's great, but you got to stand over in this little corner over here because see all this? This is my pan across, and you'll be in the shot or whatever. Oh, okay, yeah. And they're kind of over there looking, But
yeah,
it's just that kind of controlled fun, excitement that as long as you can keep that up, I think that's what you end up getting is that bonding.
Yeah, it's cool when you do have somebody kind of green.
It is. I love it.
After their first takes, they're nervous as fuck. They're all nervous because it's their first time never acting or being in front of the camera before. But man, they just want to do so good. They're like, hey, did I do okay? Did I get it? Did what? I can do more.
Right.
And when you see somebody like that, you're like, man, you're part of the team now. You really get it. You want to do as good as you can to make this bigger thing happen for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, from the crew side, some of the folks on Red Night from the crew, they started out just going, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do every time. And then by the time it was over, they were running things.
Yeah.
They were doing more jobs than, it's just like, man, you pick it up quick, but man, you jumped in with both feet and you owned this.
It goes one of two ways with new crew, like with grips and PAs, let's say. Either they do that where by the end of the shoot, they're running things, they're using their own initiative, or on the other side of the coin, after 2 or 3 days, they bail out, never see them again.
The relationship thing is super important to me. In fact, just last week I got to speak in front of some 7th and 8th graders for a drama class. I only had about 45 minutes, and they all wanted to know
Brock just
what's
got
it like to
done
make
talking
a movie?
about him.
What's it like to make a movie? What's it like to be an actor? Are you a real actor? What do you do to become a real actor? How's a movie made? I'm like, I cannot fit all of this into 45 minutes. So I was kind of all over the place. But getting back to the relationship thing, is I told him, the very last thing I told him, I said, the biggest thing you can do making movies or in life in general is to be good to other people. Treat them really good. Because honestly, about every acting gig I've gotten besides auditioning for a commercial here and there, I'd gotten attention from being on the previous set, and somebody else was on another movie, and they're like, hey, I think you might be good for this movie. You want to come try it out? And a lot of times I've gotten other gigs just from being a good person, and and they needed somebody else, and I got jobs from it, from just having relationships with people.
Well, just being a good person on set, I think, is key. Like you said, is just being that contributor, I guess, on a set. What I like about it is when we go places now or have guests on, there's that sense of, I know exactly what James Dean is going through.
Yeah.
I know what's going through his mind. I know his worries. I know his, trepidations are when we go to somebody's screening now. You know exactly what. And everybody who came to our screening that didn't even have anything to do with the film is still part of our family or that community. And they know exactly what we're feeling. They know that nervousness. They know that, they're going to come see something that they weren't part of, but they know we made and they're excited for us. I think that's bigger, the extended family, when you look at independent film community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just about it being good to people, but you need to value them. You can be nice to somebody, but if you really value them for what they do and contribute, that's key. So putting on events like the premiere we had at the High Point, I mean, they showed up and they contributed, and that's valuable to me that they came up and out in droves and supported our film. I mean, it's because we've all built relationships with all these people, and they supported it. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's key. It's like going to your kids' play and you understand how much work they put into it.
Yeah.
Or you go to your cousin's something, or it's anything something puts together that they put time, effort, energy, and really cared about putting it together. That's what's important for showing up. I think people do that on a movie set to try to get the best product. And I think people do that when you go to premieres or that big extended family in. I mean, even what like Suki does with some of the stuff she does with her theater. And all that, they're putting on something for somebody. Go support them as that extended family in the community of theater, movies, arts, whatever it is.
I know Greg hasn't spoken a whole lot, so
Yeah.
He's the quiet one in the family.
he's the one who orchestrates all this. So.
I know. I got the email, so let's talk about this.
I've been talking. What are you talking about?
Like you said, Chris, when you're directing a movie, there is no downtime. There really wasn't any downtime for me on Red Night either, but you still find those moments, like you talked about. Everything's going by in a blur, but it's really the energy you get on a film is cool. But if you were a total dick, as a director, that would bring down everything and everybody as the head guy. And what you do with everybody and keeping people light, jokes, having a good time instead of everything so goddamn serious, I think that says a lot about how you direct and then what you mean to other people that are on your sets.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to make a product to sell, right? I mean, we are. Not everybody is. I just watched a video that had sort of the three levels of filmmakers, like the A level, which are like the people at the very top, like, the Spielbergs and the Scorseses and whatnot, and the C level, which are the people at the very bottom who are just doing it for fun. They just want to make a movie, want to get together with their buddies, and they don't give a damn what happens to it. Then you have the B level, which is the biggest group, which we fit in, which are people who are doing this. We have the ambition of the A level, but we have closer to the resources of the C level.
True.
And I think you have to approach it with kind of a light touch.
And allowing people to do their roles on the set. I think you do a good job of that, especially when you don't feel like you have to take that on. I think early on you thought you had the burden. You did have the burden of a lot of it. But as we move through our movie filmography or whatever, you've had less.
Yeah.
And on this one you had, but I noticed on this is you didn't care what Kathleen was doing with wardrobe, as long as the wardrobe came to you the way it was supposed to become, the way we discussed it. So you didn't care what she was doing. Care if she was there, right? So it was because she's a professional and she did her job. But there was also somebody else behind the scenes making sure that was happening. But you having not to worry about that changes the way your thought process can be and maybe the demeanor of how you can or can't be on a set.
Oh yeah, very much.
I mean, I just think that's key in having, I guess, the connection or the community all kind of jive.
Jive. I like that word.
No,
We're jiving, man.
No, I see that because I saw when the times it did go off the rail is everybody wasn't on the same page or something else happened and we had to have conversations like, hey, we're here a little long on the one night with the bikers, right? Mm-hmm. There's always going to be disagreements. That's what family does. Or like when the alarm went off, right? You and I had to have a conversation about going, yes, we all want the same thing, but there's two different people kind of managing it.
Yeah.
So you stop managing it, let me manage it because that's my job. You just worry about when we're ready to shoot, right? But I think that's what happens as well. But if you can identify those disagreements and move forward for the greater good, I think it's going to be a better set, and you're going to be able to hold that cohesiveness together. I don't know.
Yeah, we really didn't have a whole lot of disagreements on the film as a whole. There's just every now and then there's some shit that happens.
Shit that
you gotta
happens.
address it.
Gotta address
And
it.
we do it in a professional way because we do respect each other. It's that camaraderie we made over the last however many years we've been together. So yeah, man, it's all about the relationships.
Yeah. But I think it's important to point out that it's not all just wine and roses, right? That
No, it's not.
as a family has those disagreements, there's things like that happen on set, and if they're handled properly, respectfully, and then I think you can get through anything. Even when you're replacing cast,
Yeah.
or you're having to make difficult decisions, or you're having late nights, or you're doing all these things, I think that's all part of it. But still, it's family. It's a lot of people come together in a short period of time to make a collective project, and if you manage that properly, then you're going to get what we got with Red Knight.
No, I think back to all the films. There was always some sort of critical tipping point where something was going to be completely fucked up if we didn't make something happen. Like every feature had some instance of that moment of panic, like, oh my God, we're going to lose everything if X happens. And that's every film. And whatever you do in the future, it's going to have the same thing. You can cover all your bases and still find out something's uncovered.
I agree. Because what do families not have? Families don't have money. What do film directors know? We don't have money.
Some families have money.
No, I know what you're saying.
Not
but
this one.
But I was just thinking about what families argue about, or what like the things that kind of come up in that. I'm just comparing it to family because that's what you said, man.
Hey, we are family.
I know.
The 88mm family.
Yeah.
That's right. Chris Gregg, Brock Roberts.
And Chris Mackey. Don't forget yourself.
So, we got anything else to add to this?
I don't. I like the family though.
I'm surprised you guys hadn't said anything about my nice little Santa cap.
Love it. I told you that.
I thought we did.
I don't know. You said I dressed festive, but I kind of went all out with this Santa cap on. And
No. Ho,
my feelings are hurt.
ho, ho, ho.
Ho ho.
Okay. Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Chris has been over for 3 days, buddy. All right.
Anyway, to wrap it up now,
Yep.
I guess what we have left to talk about would be the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens of true independent filmmaking on the Indie Film Sucks podcast, brought to you by 88mm Productions. It's out there. I don't know. People are watching.
Check us out.
Yep. Stay tuned for updates
Tell
on the
people to
movie.
check us out. Tell people.
Right.
That's what we need. We know you're listening.
Yeah.
Get somebody else to listen.
All right.
Or watch. Check
Peace
out my
out.
hat. That's Santa cap.
Good night.
Indie film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks